compared with medicine and whatever else, right? So there's 9% of students studying ICT, which is twice as many as EU average. I don't know about Malaysia, but according to Eurostat, 9% of students in higher education studying ICT is twice as many as EU average, and 40% of the students are female. 40% of the students of ICT are female in Estonia, which is a very large number compared with other countries in Europe. Again, I don't know about Malaysia, yeah, but in Europe this is a very big conclusion. When you look at the cohort, and half of the students are female. So, let me play you another video now. This one related with the context within which these digital technologies take place. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is about a typical setup of a learning environment in a school. Yeah. So not all schools are built now. They have been built in the past, and sometimes they have still this kind of lectures. But the way spaces are used and the way activities are organized is very different. I'll play you this one. Yeah. Of course, this one depicts a school, the scenario of a school that has been recently built. This is a Vimsi school near Tallinn, but the same approach is being handled even in old buildings. Again, I'm referring to buildings, and Tariq understands this because in human-computer interaction, our buildings are the technology, and this is again infrastructure, and it facilitates or it enables or hinders our intentions, right? So the buildings, they have a strong connection with that, right? If the building is not favoring something, then we need to reshape it, or we can just repurpose, and this is about repurposing. This one is about reshaping, but we can also repurpose.
Hello and welcome to the future of education. Our school is not just well ventilated and lighted, this is also a smart classroom. That doesn't look like much of a classroom, right? I guess you're more used to the situation where the teacher leads all the activities. But you'll get used to it, just like I did. The reason why the layout is so different is that here we have more responsibility for learning. Our awesome teacher guides us, but we have more freedom to do things our way and create our own learning paths. Planning to manage my time and working together with other students is really important. And we learn this at a very young age. This helps me a lot. And make sure the teachers know how I'm doing. So if I or my study group get stuck on something, they can help. So let's see what we have here. The interaction and presentation area is where the teachers start the day and give instructions, and we present projects to other students. The exchange area is where we mostly do group work. The development area is a quiet place for individual work. The create and investigate area is where we do hands-on learning, like building robots. And the listening area is where the teachers talk to us if we just need some one-on-one advice from them. With our teachers, we help set our goals and get tasks done. And that's about it. Thank you for coming. And don't forget to check out our website.
Yeah, so it's, as I was saying, it's not just about the technology, it's the entire setup. Tariq visited us recently, and you were in one of these labs, colorful lab, discussing with Basil, remember? I introduced you to students. This is one of the spaces, it's one of the spaces where you create stuff that coexists with a place where people also work, right? And across the corridor there's a lab for lab studies. It's university setting, but the approach is very, it's equivalent, yeah? So it's different, can be used. And the approach that was described here with the initial briefing and working with students, bring one on topics and then letting them work and then coming back for feedback later to guide them further. This is common across all levels. Of course, we still have a typical seminar or the typical lecture here and there as induction points where topics are brought onto the discussion, right? Where we introduce students to this or to that. But typically, there are not that many let's say slide-based lectures or slide-based courses or exposure-based courses throughout the year. Students are really actively involved in their learning by problem solving or project resolution, and that makes a difference. And technology helps exactly because it allows for this connection between the students and the student teams with the lecturer and with the parents when they are minor. So we use these solutions like everything, yeah. And the first one is this diagram. This is the fundamental one. There are a number available in Estonia. 3 are there: Ellis, Ecol, and Studium. Studium is the one that I'll be able to share with you today. Then there are different solutions for digital learning materials and platform: eSchool Bag, OPIC, and the third one that was not there when the slide was prepared, but it's still available. It's already available, so I'll show it to you. The eSchool Bag was actually co-designed by us. Actually by my team and the Ministry of Educational Affairs and Ministry for Education and colleagues from the Technology Enhanced Learning group. This is the project that internally was called LearnMix. Yeah, this is the eSchool Bag, and OPIC, and another one that stems from LearnMix. I will copy it up later. Student admission systems, they are state-wise. Dream Apply is the platform that any student from outside Estonia uses to study in Estonia in whatever university. It's one single platform for the country. It's a single access point to the entire educational system of the country. If you are from outside Estonia, then you use Dream Apply to jump into the Estonian school system for the first time only. If you are inside Estonia, then you use SIZE, and that's an internal acronym in Estonia, where you apply to change school, to change university, to enter the university, to apply for a master's or PhD. That's so if you reside inside in Estonia, then there is SIZE. If you reside outside Estonia, then you have this Dream Apply. SIZE was developed a long time ago. It's very early. Dream Apply is a commercial product that you can actually adopt in your own school if you want to, in your own university or in your own country. All of these solutions are provided by companies. The examination info system is everywhere for the digital tests. So all the exams and questions are created in this platform. And it doesn't mean that the students need to answer in the computer, they can answer on paper, but the questions themselves, they are presented in tablets or on the screen. So they are fully controlled. There's no need to kind of store the tests in envelopes and hide them, because they are just there. They are questions that are randomized, they are timed, scrambled, so all the mechanisms to ensure that students are by themselves and focused are implemented. It's like a flexible test sheets with questions that are timed and replaced in position, so that there's no, you don't need to care about invigilating, because students just don't have the opportunity. There's no point, because your question will always be different from mine and your timings are different from mine. So I just focus on my own work, and then you can focus on something instead of playing the police with the kids. So this system is quite interesting as well. The Estonian Education Info System is the one that collects everything, and the user administration system is the one that interfaces with this Xcode and allows access to the educational subsystem inside the common system, information system in entire Estonia. Let me play you another video, and then we go on to the demos.
How has Estonia become such an exemplary digital society and a unicorn factory? The secret lies in the digital focus, which started in the mid-1990s.
As early as kindergarten, children in Estonia start to learn programming. They do it through play, hands-on methods, and also using robots. Since the use of technology increases each year, it is vital to start the learning process as a...
Just a parenthesis, because this one is very connected to us. This is one of our labs. This is the lab that you visit. The one that is just mentioned. Yes? Yeah, this is one of our labs. So some of these solutions we actually developed them there or in the adjacent room, the one with the robots. We have a strong team working with robots in education. So if you want, I can connect it to those colleagues.
How has Estonia become such an exemplary...
Kindergarten, children in Estonia start to learn programming. They do it through play, hands-on methods, and also using robots. Since the use of technology increases each year, it is vital to start the learning process as early as possible.
Technological advantages were key during the global pandemic. It felt like we had already been preparing for distance learning for the past 25 years. Estonia is a good example how cooperation between the state and the private sector helps students learn in a smarter way. From edtech startups to entrepreneurs, private and public partnerships can help tackle challenges, solve crises, and create new solutions. Together, we also think about what skills young people will need in the future.
At the end of the day, the goal is to make people's lives easier. Students don't have to carry heavy books around every day, since most of the books are in the cloud. And the communication between school and home is seamless, and it's easily done through eSchool. Everyone's enjoying the use of technology over here, and by everyone, we mean everyone. The popularity of ICT amongst females is high. We have hobby clubs just for girls, and more female ICT students than anywhere else in Europe. Girls are also rocking the digital world by being part of a digital nation. Way to go, Estonia! Don't forget to check Education Estonia website over here.
Yep, and as the video highlighted, yes, when COVID hit, yeah, people were prepared for it. The school just switched to remote learning. We don't call it distance learning in Estonia, we call it just remote learning because teaching and learning approaches were not changed. Just the students were studying from home. We just call it remote learning, just over the weekend. So that's the message, okay, we need to stay home from Monday, we do remote learning. Keep an eye on your e-diaries, the assignments will be posted there, and lecturers will be contacting you, explaining where will you meet, and different platforms. So some lecturers, they prefer to use Google Meet to have face-to-face meeting with the students. Some prefer to use Zoom, some prefer to use something else. Some didn't do anything, just created this learning script and checked activities done by students, depending on the different topics. And school just went on. So adults, they faced a bit of challenges with the change, but the students studying, not really. Yeah? And this is only possible because there's a high degree of penetration of digital solutions at home. And students were already using these iPads and tablets, either their own or provided by the school, borrowed from the school before. And those that didn't have, then the solution was found for them. But it just went on. There was no stopping for a month or two and figuring out how to do it. As happened in other European countries where they just stopped for a month so that they could kind of rethink how to do it. And then they just switched, and that's it. As I said, it looks like they were preparing. But then we learned from these moments where we had to stay at home, and we adopted some practices that remain. So our teaching and learning practices, they become more flexible. And we are not, there's no eagerness in going back to fully face-to-face on anything. So teachers and students, they learn how to benefit from this flexibility, and this is encouraged. And still goes on. So I think we just took it a step further during the pandemic. Okay, and of course there are more slides here, but I will not bother you with a back presentation, and I will move then to this short demos that I had prepared, if you allow me. So there is a website, and again I will send the link to you. There is a website where a collection of digital solutions and other different kinds of solutions have been kind of put together by the Ministry of Education, just as an introduction to the topic. I selected digital solutions, and then if you select digital solutions, then you can see a number of either applications or full environments that support a number of things that can be used in different ways in educational context. And these are all kind of privately owned solutions or provided solutions, or provided by universities like this one. It's a pronunciation training tool for Estonia. If you go through this, and there's
would you also like to mention about it that in this case, these solutions are developed by the industry?
Yeah.
What was the role of the universities in this case specifically?
In some of them there was role of university. In some cases there was not direct role of university, there was role of school.
Okay.
But remember that the teachers, they go through university for a long period, right? So many of them, they were doing their master projects on some school issue that was then developed by the companies. So I will show you one that is like.
And what was the role of the, I mean, yeah, there was a role of the university in some cases, but what was their role actually? That's the important.
Well, the role of the university has been mostly on providing. Well, the bigger role is, of course, is theoretical framing, right? Because if you have educational technologists and educational scientists and people with our expertise in interaction design and human cognitive technology, the design of these solutions, they can be very well informed. They are not just created by companies because they can do it. They are created informed by solid grounds of theory and understanding of how people learn, how people operate, how people work. So these are very sound solutions. They are not just solutions because they are. Okay, so that's a very good question. The solutions, they answer and they follow very specific purposes and principles. And this is the main role of university. But not just this one. I was about to show you another one. So the universities are actually quite proactive in this. Let's see if I can find my university here somewhere. It should come. Let's make it like broader so that everything shows up. Yes. Search result updated, good. Here, see? So the universities, this is Tallinn University. So this is development program for students' general competences in the digital realm. So we are providing this, so we help. This is provided by the School of Educational Sciences. They help incorporate these principles in learning outcomes and curriculum. Digital learning games, it's a master's program for teachers that want to create learning games for schools, and then many of these solutions that are here, they were created as master thesis projects that were then commercialized, and transformed into startups, and then made available to schools. So that's a different way to provide. But there's more. There's 5 pages to explore. Yes, there's 5 pages to explore.
So for my understanding, like the teachers are the student in the digital learning games, where they
Yes.
come up with their
Yeah.
master thesis based on very strong theories,
Yeah.
and then those concepts or those models are the base for creation of technology by
Yes.
the company or by the startup,
That is then adopted by
the schools.
the schools.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and
So that's a
propagated.
circle.
Yeah, it's a full circle. Yes, thank you for highlighting it. Yes, yes, it's a full circle. Yeah, it's definitely a full circle. Yeah. So in many of the solutions, that's the case. Let me see if I can find the one that I really wanted. So these are. This is in Estonian, and there's no other way for me to translate it, because it's, again, when you go into educational technologies, then it's prepared for Estonian school in Estonian language, although sometimes it appears in English. But so this one is called Avastus Rada, and it allows schools to create learning activities in the physical space. Yeah. So if you want to take, let's say, kids to a zoo or to a forest or to some location, and you want them to learn, you can create activities that are geomarked. They are scripted. They are pedagogical outcomes. They are expected pedagogical learning outcomes, and then you can embed also the assessment tools into it. And then students, they go through the different places. They accomplish some tasks. They report some results, and in the end, they draw some conclusions. And this is like a full activity created in an app that just goes on your phone, and students take and play in the whatever, in location, on location.
It's like going to a field trip with a purpose.
Yeah, but the field trip is many times just a class. So it's very common for students to go into math class. It's 2 hours, and they just go to the city and they study geometrical shapes with different augmented reality applications that they superimpose. They identify the shape. They identify the equation. They understand the parameters. They discuss it. So it's very hands-on. It's not like abstract math. It's like this is what it means, and then it's back on the application. So with augmented reality, kids do that a lot. They do it with existing tools, not necessarily Estonian tools. Most of you, if you are from math field, you know GeoGebra. Yes, it's a very common tool. I mean, these images on the background, the bridge, and parallel on top, and you play with the parameters, and you learn this. So it's not like sophisticated. It's just incorporating the digital in the practice, right? And that's the key. Yeah, it does not need to be overly complicated. This one is quite novel. This one is not just that, so it's a full thing. So a lecturer can prepare field trip with a learning purpose, and it's scripted, and kids are playing with their own devices like they like to. They are aiming, they are providing answers, they are rating. In the end, this comes together. The lecturer has the overview of each team and all the answers that were put and where they were put, because it's geo-referenced and the activity has a purpose. And this one is called it's an application. This one was developed by our university, actually, team from our school. And the same with this one. This was the precursor, that one, and this one was specifically for zoos. Okay? They created the smart zoo application, and then from this one they developed this one. And now it's taken up by a startup that is bringing it yet to a next level. Learning analytics I mentioned before, right? So this is something that the university works with the ministry to create a number of solutions to get to benefit, to allow the ministry and the schools to benefit from all the information that is required by the system. Right? So in this case, university just directly in partnership with schools and ministry creates different solutions, just using off-the-shelf applications sometimes. They just take Tableau or something else and they look at the databases, they are able to make meaningful connections, they know enough about statistics and data handling to make it happen, and then this becomes very valuable for schools. But the schools by themselves, they don't have this know-how. They don't know how to connect and what to connect and how to interpret the data. So that's what they do. They create a solution and it just runs on a open, available platform. So there's no need to create yet a new solution, but it's the know-how that is there. Yeah. They work with the schools on this. So this is our team that works on specifically this topic of learning analytics and education innovation. But I wanted to show you. This is one of the let's say digital book solutions. I created a couple for myself, but of course there's nothing here. But I will explain to you later. I wanted to see these are all books. Let me see if I can find you the one that I really wanted to show you. Are you familiar with the concept of escape room?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So there's a company creating now digitally enabled escape rooms for kids, for schools. And these are kits to be used by teachers in school setting on different topics. And the proposal of this, I'm trying to find it.
Is it open source?
It's freely available, yes. It's freely available. And the proponent of this, the creator of this, there's even this kind of solution. See, the substitute teacher platform, where teachers can register free time, and if school needs a teacher of math for that 1 hour because the math teacher could not make it, then you just use the platform to find the teacher, right? So that you don't need to send it. I will find it. I don't want to lose time on this because I really want to show this one.
So the teachers have flexibility on like what tools they use to form up their own curriculum.
They can mix and match as they see fit, and create new solutions. The one that I was trying to find and I couldn't, but I will do it after demonstrating this one. This one I really want to demo to you. Is this escape room based idea. So it's a kit in a box with a digital app as well, online, on the web and on phones. And this one was created by our son's physics teacher. It's a startup where she's the main, the lead owner at this moment. And she created this concept at school. She was playing with the kids, and then it was so interesting that they just transformed into a product, and now they sell it in a box. You can just take it, and this is about physics, and you need to understand and solve a number of physics problems to be able to find the different cues and escape the room, basically, right? So it's like a puzzle on the table. It's meant to be worked by a team of students. It's digitally enabled, and then through the digital part of the escape room, she gets the progress of the students, and she can grade them. She can assess what they learn, what they know, what they don't know. Yeah, look with the things she's providing. So I'll try to find it. Okay, let me focus on this one, because this one is really important. In the presentation, I mentioned that this e-school system or digital diary was fundamental, right? And I also showed in this tree that the family is on the basis of the educational tree in Estonia, right? The understanding of how education should happen. Families on the basis, and kindergarten, and schools, and everything else, and the tree grows from there. This educational tree goes from there. This tool is fundamental in bringing families into the educational system, right? Throughout the school up to 12th grade, because then they become grown-ups, and then parents are no longer legally allowed to look into that data. It becomes the student's data. They share it with us if they want to. Otherwise, the state cannot or the school cannot force it. So there are different solutions. They are all proposed by different companies. The solutions for these digital diaries or e-diaries. And so one of them is this one, ECHO. This was the first one. The second solution created in Sonia was this Studium, and then there's a third one called Alice. This page is in Estonian, but I will guide you through. So Studium is this online platform used by approximately 30% of Estonian schools that allows, that brings students, teachers, and parents together in an environment where teachers can set assignments, students can check them, can mark them as done, can submit deliverables, and parents can follow up this activity, can see the grades, can see notices from lecturers, can discuss with teachers, can involve kids in discussions or not. So it's an all-encompassing platform that builds on this idea of the school diary, right? I don't know if you are using a school diary at school here, but where the teacher can write some notice for the parent to see at home, and he needs to sign it. I took notice. I don't know if you have this. Do you have something like this? Something like this? Yeah. So this is the digital version of that, and this was created in 1995. Actually, this one was created in 1995, and then upgraded several times. This is from the late 90s, so early 2000, and then a new solution came up. So in this page, if you open it like Studium, yeah, if you go to this web page, you will see that you can turn it to English, but then nothing is shown, or almost nothing is shown other than contact us in English. But if you take a look at here, you can see this is the Estonian word for diary. You could type this day, and you could book, so it's the notebook for the day. You can see the different screenshots of, in this case, from the teacher's perspective. So this is how the teacher plans the lessons. He writes in which days, what topic is going to happen, and which homework is meant to be delivered after this lesson, on which date, and what's the estimated time that the student needs to devote to handle this homework. Yeah. So this is like from the teacher's perspective. They see this, but they also see this. Yeah. They can assign different homeworks to different students depending on the needs. Different marks. How many marks out of that? How many marks out of a total of how many? In this case, 2 tasks accomplished out of 4. Right? They can check the rosters of each class. Yeah? They can see the student name, but also the parents. Yeah? And the contacts of the parents. They can generate the grade sheets. These are the different topics, so English, Russian, mathematics, geography, biology, physics, and the different grades. This is generated automatically by the system. So these are different perspectives that I cannot show on the demo, because the demo I will show you is from the parent perspective, not from the school perspective. This is a conversation, and this is how you see the conversations with different either teachers or parents or students from the teacher's side. This one. This one is about. This one is again about assigning tasks that have been predefined. This one is marking like present or absent, and so on. So the system allows for you to check from a. This is already from the student perspective. The system allows you to basically handle all school-related tasks on itself. It's not a school management system, it's a learning and study management system, the e-diary, I guess. You don't teach through it, but you teach with it on the side. Let me show to you how does this work, like with a real case. Let me go into the system for the school of my kids then. So I'm going to log in as myself as a parent right now. So I log into the system as a parent, and I can, for instance, go to messages. Yeah? And in messages, I see all the messages that have been written to me by lecturers, or to all parents or the entire class by lecturers. Yeah, there's a trip to London being prepared for my daughter, and there are discussions. This discussion began in November 23, and it's go on with all parents here saying, yeah, I will go, I will not go, or my kid will go, how much does it cost, when should we pay, and so on. So this is like an ongoing discussion. I can just jump into unread and see what is there that I have not read. Financial views and cartoon competition. So yeah, this is one of my son's colleagues, and she's promoting some competitions, so inviting people to submit a cartoon. It's probably one of our projects. Recently we celebrated the Day of Estonia, and there was this hosting of the flag in Costa, which is the tiny hill in the city center, and this was the program. So the 105th anniversary of Estonia begins with the hosting of the Estonian flag, just explaining and letting them know that students should be there. Parents are invited to flag hosting. Yeah, and this is the place. This is the school cap where the flag was posted on the 24th. And more pictures of very early in the morning, students there celebrating the independence of Estonia. Sometimes general questions related with general announcements, like celebrating the success of students. Saying, oh, congratulations, you won some prize in some language competition, or some student is going to spend some time in a university in some project. So this is also like quiz. But there's also teachers sending us slides from a recent meeting. So there was a student-parent meeting recently, and then the school, no, not the school, the classroom, the head of the class. What is the head of the class called? Class monitor. Okay, thank you. The class monitor is sending us the slides of this meeting. So it's all in the school system, yeah. And here is the meeting, and the meeting is bilingual because this curriculum is run in Estonian and English. So yeah, see and here that using the smartphone in the corridors and lobby, reminding students you should not do that. And yeah, although they can use them for class, it's just not in the corridor, not to get distracted. And there's a strict dress code, yeah. So no funny stuff in your t-shirts, no logos, no this, no that. So this is just outcome of meeting. It's just shared with all parents here. Let me see if there is something like very specific. This is all generic. Yeah, this is all generic. I'm a parent, so I get generic stuff, right? But there might be something specific. Let me just find one specific thing. Yeah, this one. So there was an issue with the French teacher in my daughter's class, and I wrote to the class monitor exposing the problem, and then she came back to me with after discussing with the teacher and saying, okay, dear David, I discussed the feedback, let's try to do it like this, let's try to do it like that. Let me know by the beginning of the next term if you agree with this. So I need to keep on the discussion. So this is happening online. I don't need to go to the school, and it's very common. We just explain stuff, yeah? I explain my point of view, I involve or not involve. In this case, I didn't involve my daughter. There were like some strong comments there that I didn't want her to be part of, but I could have. So that's how we interact with the school, right? Then I can go to my daughter's records, and so this is, let's take a look at this slide, right? So this is homework, to-dos, and assessments. So this is like from the past. This is all the homework. I don't mark it as done. If I would log in as Sarah, as my daughter, this would be marked as done, right? So this is assessment for mathematics, proving theorems, practicing for criterion B. I mentioned before the criterion, right? So the teacher, Nelson, posted some assignments that is posted here, and she was meant to solve these problems and then propose here, submit answers here so that the teacher can see and mark it. So they are just using, typical worksheets, right? So it's not like changing many things, but it's just digital. You don't need to bring the notebook, just do it, they submit, the teacher opens, the replies, she provides feedback. But this makes a world of a difference, this kind of diary. Yeah? So all the homework is here, go through the questions and upload your answers as a comment to this file. You should also be editable. Yeah? And second homework is about molar volume, should load at some point. If you are teaching this topic, then you know this. Yeah? So these simple exercises, and then she's supposed to work on them and just submit her answers again digitally. So there's no notebooks for this. This is all digital. And sometimes digital solutions are very. And if the homework is not done, like it happened in January 17, then we see not done. Yes. And I can just ask her. I can just approach my daughter and ask what happened here, because I immediately see it's not done. So Sarah, what happened with this homework? Yeah. But it's the last time that there was one, so that's good. She used to be very random in terms of homework, but now since January 17, this was the last one, which is really good. If students are away, then we mark them. We need to excuse them, and we do it here. So we just take a day like this one. Yeah, we take a day. This is already passed. So I just wrote here that Sarah is not feeling well this morning. She will send the due homework to teachers and attend physics online. So this is written by me. This notification to teachers, and when the teacher goes to class, he opens his side of this, and when he's marking attendance, he can see the students that have been excused by the parents for other reasons and accept or not, right? So it's just advance notice, so that she's not marked in red. So she was sick twice in February. I don't know about before. Here maybe once. I think she went to the doctor here, and pass is passed. And for the future, I would just need to mark and select the kind of absence or other, and write it down and submit, and then the teachers know that, okay, Sarah will not come on this day. And it can be for the full day or just one specific lecture. I just write it down. And so this is the student side, homework, descriptions, links to study materials, and study materials, of the different modules. And sometimes they are presentations, sometimes they are PDFs, sometimes they are just Word documents. They can be many things. Okay? I can just jump into all the resources for the courses, and the 2 units addressed so far, they've got all the materials here. So all the materials are digital. They need to be there. Yeah? There's no way that the teacher can have something that is not digital. She needs to have it all digital. Even if she, on class, uses slides or prints them to teachers, all the materials need to be there.
Even the learning objectives and
All of
assessment,
that, yes.
the students can see what will be assessed for this specific exam.
Yeah, so there was something here, let me see. So this is like assignments and what they need to submit, and then the materials in the end, and then so this is the student side. This is the lecturer side, and no lessons here. It was a holiday. It was just Happy Independence Day. But before that, there was an absence. I excused it before, and these are the topics that were addressed in the lesson, so she can know and pick it up from home, or we can help her. Pop music knowledge, rehearsing for the assembly, and here is the excuse that I provided, so it's addressed with that one. In English,
sorry, just hold on.
Yeah.
So is pop music knowledge one of the learning outcome that's required?
It's one of the topics that they are exploring for music. The learning outcome might be something like the student is able to recognize different music genres, and that would be the learning outcome, right? Pop music is something that is bringing into the learning outcome. Okay? I'm just speculating. I don't know the learning outcome by heart. I don't know the learning outcome by heart on this
But
one.
the learning outcomes are very specific.
But something like this,
Very
yes.
clear.
I support my kids in math and physics, so those I know. But the other topics, they do it by themselves.
But what I don't understand is like every teachers might have a different approach, different ways of teaching this, but in the end, how to make sure that it's all kind of standardized, or is there any standardized?
Let me put it like this. Let's take something very mundane. Learning outcome is that you learn how to drive, and you are able to follow the, let's say, driving code. I don't know if it's driving code or driving law, but driving code. in Malaysia, right? Let's say that this is a learning outcome. You learn how to drive, to operate the vehicle, and you are able to interpret and follow the instructions provided by the learning code, yeah? The distances, the speed, and so on. So how I teach this to you, it's entirely up to me. As long as you are able to drive the car and follow the rules, then I do it in one way. Tariq doesn't, it's totally fine. And you might prefer his style of teaching, and you might prefer my style of teaching, and that's fine. I might do theory first, or go through the books, and then go to the road. Tariq might decide, come with me in the car, and start driving. And he says 30, slow down. Yeah. Oh, we can go faster. No? So and that's the autonomy part. So in the end, you will need to learn how to drive and follow the rules. Yes. The way you get there is entirely up to instructors. Entirely.
Will there be any different interpretation of the learning outcome across different teachers?
There might be different interpretations, yes, because if the learning outcomes would be formulated in such a generic way. But learning outcomes are formulated in quite specific way. I'm talking about the ones in maths, for instance, that I follow. They are quite specific, and they come together with examples. Yeah. So the student is able to understand, let's say, quadratic equations, right? And different methods to solve quadratic equations, and is able to apply the notions of quadratic equations in real world, and in situations such as this, and then some examples. Yeah.
Maybe you can show one.
I would need, it takes a lot to go into the. I understand the question, but I'll show you. I just why it takes a lot. So this is like the Google Drive equivalent of let's say learning resources. If I go into math, then I need to find here where the thing is, and I don't know where it is. Yeah, where you posted. I know that I got it at some point, but not anymore. So that's why I say it's not effective.
Mm-hmm.
We are not using our time wisely by this. I'll find one. Let me go back to the diary, because I have not finished showing you the diary. So these are the lessons and the summaries of the lessons. So in this case, checking the exam, checking the entrance exam, and the course self-reflection and feedback form. So this we do a lot, this self-reflection, where students are meant to also assess themselves. In physics, they did this, resistor and variable resistor in series connection, exercises 5 to 11. This is from the exercise book that is submitted initially. In French, révision des problèmes globaux des solutions. So it's, we know, this is something that she missed, and then she did 2 tasks. This is a mark for a poster. So we get everything, all the feedbacks. Yeah. This was like an extra lesson in preparation for an exam, in which was marked present. She was. So this is 9th grade. So they have exams, so they prepare for exams as well, right? So that's like extra lessons, and she was marked present, and so on, right? So that's and this is fundamental. This exists as an app as well, and my kids are always the app open. Yeah, that's how they know what they need to study for tomorrow. They check the homework, and they know what they need to do. They get the feedback from teachers. They provide the feedback to teachers. They are always with the student open in their hands. I've got it also on my phone, but I use it more like here. Yeah. So then going to this, and I will stop. Yeah. Because it's already quite there. Going to this, then this is where all the learning resources are available. And Sonia was asking me to check the criteria for one specific course. I honestly don't remember where I found it. I know that I did find it. If there's a specific folder where all the learning outcomes are there, because this is provided by the head of the curriculum, and I don't know it by heart. Sorry, it takes time to find it.
Don't worry.
I'm not using it every day. Sorry. That was like a tricky question. But I could find it if needed. Yes, I could find it if needed. Yeah. So messaging, the resources, and then the diary. Yeah. This is quite important. And this is my view. The student's view is just their own little world. They don't see my personal messages, or in this case, brother that goes to same school, right? They just see their own take into it. Without this, the school, as we know it in Estonia, would fall apart, because this is like really gluing it all together. It's really fundamental. Everything else that you've seen is kind of attached to this. Okay. And this is connected with the X road and the databases. So all the grades here, all the comments, they feed the school level databases that then feeds the ministry level databases with the big level indicators. And they apply to university. We get this kind of, so at any moment we can generate this report card. If I want to see the current report card, I can just, if school would stop today, what would be the report card? And I can see it here. And I can see grades in different criteria. You can see the different criteria, criteria A, criteria B. This is related to learning outcomes and different grades with the different activities and feedback. Very good, those topics are understood properly, but some aspects could be studied for, blah, 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 and so on. Yeah. So this is the report card that I can get in any moment. It provides me an overview of Sarah in this case today in 9th grade. Yeah? If I would just stop here. So at any moment, if I want to see it as a technique, I look at report card and I, like in a nutshell, where Sarah stands in all topics, with all the comments and all the current grades. Yeah? And by the end of the year, I get the formal final study card. Yeah? So it really empowers students, yeah? Because there's nothing that is like oral. Yeah? There's nothing that a student can say in a class that cannot be written here. And students have the right to ask teachers. Oh, you mentioned something in class. I didn't really catch it. Where can I find it? And they will say it's in file, blah, blah, blah. They will go and find it, yes? But there's nothing that, and if a student does not meet a class, he fails to go because he's sick, then he should be able, or she should be able to follow up using the materials and information that's provided in the system. And parents as well. We get all the notifications. And as I mentioned before, if we are not checking the system often enough, then because teachers can see when we are checking the system, they can just contact us and say, come on, maybe you should pay more attention to your your son or your daughter for a while. So it really works. So this is one of them. This one is similar, just provided by a different company, and I mentioned yet another one. And they are open. They are sold. They are sold. These are subscription services for schools, and they are available in the entire planet, not just here. Okay, I'll stop here before going any further. Otherwise, there will be no time for any questions. We are already late, right?
No, thank you very much, David. I think we need to skip some of the things somehow. Of course, if there is any question, but in the meantime, I think it will be also important that if we can take the next 30 minutes time for this discussion, that where we want to go from here onward. For our understanding, some of our schools are here, so we can have the teacher's perspective. They can share with us that currently in the schools, keeping in view these examples where we are lacking different parts. And then, because what I can see is that many of these examples are coming because of the needs. If this outdoor activities platform is there, I'm really looking at it that we, Dr. Jen and we have a lot of service learning programs around, but we don't have a platform for that where we can see. So it means it is based on the need. Currently, the school, the teachers, they got a need and they developed a system. But the second part is, so that's from the school side. I think we will open it for the school first, and then the second one is, of course, that the universities and the startups, I think it's also needed to define our role somehow, to look at it, that how we can support each other, because from my understanding is that in the university we are also developing technology, but it's not very sustainable. Researchers want to move next, so they forget about it. And from there, in this example, when we can see startup really take it to the next stage, and then come up with a very sustainable long-term products. But then maybe the startups are not good to go in deep of that to get at the theoretical framing of the thing or the modeling of the thing. So let's start with that, and in between, if you have any question or any suggestion to add to David. So can we start with the schools first? Maybe we have the Principal Young here with us, and also is here.
Right, thank you. Maybe I'll start the ball rolling. I just want to know, maybe before I share, the class size in Italian schools, say in the primary or secondary, the number of students in the class is from students' perspective. And number two, the teachers' teaching qualification. What should be the minimum qualification for them to be able to teach in primary or secondary? And number 3 is talking about parents. The parents' digital literacy rate. Do they all know about something about computer? So this may be some of the questions that I would like David to give me some feedback before I comment on Malaysia.
Let's begin with simple one, class size.
Yes, number of students.
Between 20 to 30.
20 to 30, right?
Yeah, that's class size, 20 to 30. 30 is already considered big, but sometimes we get to 30, yes? But ideally 25, but 20 to 30 is real class size. Regarding digital literacy of parents, yes, all digitally, literate, yes. This began in the late 90s with this program of bringing parents to school and teaching them, right? So 20 years have passed. So if those students were going to school with the first computer and internet connection, then 20 years later they are parents now themselves with digital literacy skills. Yes. So all digital literate. That's the assumption.
And teachers' qualification?
Sorry?
Any minimum qualification to enable the teacher to qualify themselves to teach in primary or secondary?
What do you mean by minimum qualification?
Say for example in Malaysia here, they should have at least a basic first degree and with teaching qualification, trained to be a teacher before they can be posted to a school to do teaching.
They need to have a master's.
Yes.
Yeah, they need to have a master's.
Yes. So no, ours here is a first degree. First degree it should be
a second degree in our case.
So in
To be a
Indonesia,
teacher.
second degree.
Second degree. Yeah.
To enable them to
Yes.
teach.
The first degree is to prepare them as teachers, but they will not be able to teach. They will be able to co-teach with others only, right? And the second degree, they specialize in the kind of teaching they want to do. Second degree, to be autonomous teachers. Yes.
So my sharing will be in Malaysia, our national schools, not the private school, normally will be around 30 to 40, correct? 30 to 40 students. Some primary school, the number can be up to 40 or 50 students. Yeah, and our class we start quite early, say around 7, and finish primary school normally around 12:30 or 1. Secondary could be starting at 7 in the morning, but we can finish around, say, secondary school, finish around 2 or 3, depending on the subject options. And our teachers, that's I mentioned, that they must have first degree and must have a diploma in teaching, minimum diploma in teaching before they can qualify themselves to teach in a school. And most of our parents here, they may know a little bit about computer, but not to the level like in Etonia, I think. Yeah. So in the sense, if we are going to implement this, I think we need to learn from Etonia, bringing the parents maybe for the first stage to know how to communicate with the school.
Because students in Australia become independent very, very early in age, and those students can push the parents also to use.
But there's no shortcuts. Yeah, parents education began here. Yeah, 25 years ago.
I think that's just an assumption because we started in a school. We started a trial in a school in 2 rural schools, one in Syrian and one further off Syrian. They're very far rural school. We taught the same as well. But as soon as we spend some time with the students, when they go back, they learn from their kid. 1 week, they're used to it. It's just like in WhatsApp. Then we set up. That's why I worry as well. That's what my stakeholders worry. But once we do it, 1 week, they are used to it.
Okay, good thing. So
the same concern was regarding e-voting in Estonia. That older people will not do it. It's not really the numbers that I showed before. They are not related with age. They are related with trust issues with the voting system itself. It's not like the older people are going to vote on paper.
They can do attitude.
It's mindset. It's equally distributed. There's no relation with age.
My parents didn't want to learn how to use Skype, but as soon as I studied abroad in UK, they learned it in one night. Just to call me.
It's based on the need. If they feel the need to. For example, for us as parents, in the beginning it was very stressing because we had all the information there and we needed to check all the time to see how things progress. But we had the need because everything is there, it's transparent and we have all the information, and the teacher was telling us, go to the system and see. because everything is there. I don't need to explain you anything. Go there and see. And then we start to do it. The same happen with the students, the teachers, and the teacher side is as well based on the need, because the teachers have to provide everything in there.
Students are totally native. Sonia cannot follow Sarah. So she cannot. Sarah is using digital technology in a totally different way. Now she was born into it. Yeah? And she's playing with stuff, and Sonia cannot follow because it's just for me.
It's not a question of follow. I use technology in a different way than my daughter. And
because for us, we are older people, right? So we digitized what we are doing before, right? For them, they are just born into it, so they transform. So they use technology in a totally different way.
But all of us see the same information based on the same needs to get informed about how SAD is doing at work, to see what the schools are teaching, what is the information about the grades, messages, everything.
I was not mentioning this, I was in general. Like in general.
This is a very good system. Actually, in Malaysia, in 1980 something, we have the smart school concept. We have something very similar, but somehow along the line was we call it diet natural death. So we are hoping the ministry maybe can revisit this smart.
Are you talking about the frog?
Frog was the latest stage. We are talking about smart school.
Smart school is before frog, right?
Yes.
Don't worry, the frog is dead as well.
Yeah. So I hope the ministry or maybe those state government can revisit. It's very good program actually. It's only implementation that we didn't do it properly. So unfortunately, we die in death, or we call it abortion. So somehow in the private school, it's easier for us to pick up. Actually, in Woodlands, we have something quite similar. But I should say only maybe around 10 to 20% of what Italian school is doing. We have what we call the edu page. We can communicate with parents. We send messages to parents. We have the school results. For example, I just a minute. I start this now. We call it edu page, right? For example, we have here we have messages, we have timetable, my course, if I'm a teacher, the grades, the examination, the preparation, the results, the attendance, the parent, substitution for teachers, and timetable for teachers and students, canteen, photo, notices, registration, application, chart. So which I think some of the components we have it, but we are going to learn with permission. We are going to use some of the features. I think they will improve on the school, we call it a communication platform, we call it. I'm sure if private school we try out is workable, with the ministry, with more funding, I'm sure we can come up with a good system. Especially, I like the links to the resources, which my school we did not do. We don't have the links to all the resources. So if we can put in the links, with more putting in the cloud, maybe we can share the resources. Here in Malaysia, we call it the teaching resources. So if we can do it, I'm sure teacher would like to use this platform. Right, that's my.
This is a transparent system. We can see everything.
Yeah,
Even what is the detail of the lesson of that day and what the teacher is teaching my kids. So this is very demanding because it's transparent. Everyone sees everything.
And I think, so a thought on that is that I think technology-wise, I don't think we are lack, right? In terms of technology, the software is there, the platform is there, everything. I think here, what I feel is the people element to the whole thing itself. So you talk about transparency is that, well, the question is, does the teacher want to have the transparency, right? So which in that leads to, you have the system, but nobody gonna provide that transparency. Then the whole thing will.
But it is not usually, transparency is not usually the part of the human factor of the human or the person. It is the system. Because if the process is not going to move to the next stage, without you being transparent, or the system needs from you to be transparent, then the human being will follow that. So I think for that case, the process of the structure, because from there what David was also saying, that the ministries, their role is actually to create that environment which supports those all processes or those systems.
All the three
Yeah.
elements.
Policy, it's all about policy. I mean, if you were to get
That's
or
policy.
write a policy paper and bring it up, then things will change.
Because that's one of the thing which the principal was also sharing about it. For example, the tools. So the tools there are so many.
Yeah.
But then when we look at it, we have the duplication. So I still remember David's discussion in 2019, the 10 principles, which is the design principle that each software need to follow. So, and in that there is a lot of, like the redundancies has been taken out, because the policy is asking you that you cannot ask same information second time. So I think that's an important aspect in one way, that the tools are available, but how we can make it.
Yeah, that's policy. Once only, right? You're referring to.
Yeah, the once only one, yeah.
You
once
just do
only.
it once.
And
But
you
it's same everywhere. This one solving only principle is everywhere. You only set the grade once. You only provide the feedback once. You only set your home address once. You just do it once because then it's in the system. It's available for you, and that's it. Yeah, it's once only. You don't need to repeat things many times. It's once only.
One time.
But if I can just
One time.
just share on, I think what Theo was saying about, right, I actually do agree that the human element is quite important in Malaysia. For example, one thing that we were trying to do is we were sending report cards on students' soft skills, but parents just replied to us, that they don't understand the importance of it. So I think there is a need for us to actually educate parents why we do certain things. So I think coming back to Theo's point about the human element, I think that's also something that we need to look into as well, not just technology.
Not just parents, I mean everybody,
Yeah.
right? Everybody involved in that whole education, right? There's a family support, schools, teachers, everybody to kind of in sync, you know, making sure that this works. Back to the point of can do, right? Well, Malaysia can do, maybe a small percentage, right? But most of it cannot. I lost my password. I cannot log in. Right? I think again that's also related to the behavior of which has been part of that behavior and culture the past few years, and that takes time. Like what you take 20 years to go into this stage. But I think I just want to share in terms of the policy. Right? One example I can think of is like, for example, I think it's good where the schools don't have like a proper exam, but kind of go into like the TP 4, 5, 6 grading, like assessment, right, for the primary school. But my challenge with that is that when I look at one school or the whole school, everybody get like the highest grade. When I look at another school, right, okay, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3. It's different school, again, different kind of assessment depending on the teachers as well. And when I look at my two sons' results, the comment exactly the same. It basically copy and paste. So yes, policy dictate that, hey, you know, there shouldn't be any exam. You should do this, and then some more. If the students are graded TP3 or below, means low grade, that you have to explain why this. Okay. Alright, let's not do TP3, right? Let's do TP5. Right? That have less work, isn't it? Right? So again, the transparency got lost. Right? The whole thing got lost in there. So again, policy is one thing. At the same time, the people need to evolve, they need to change. At the same time, the tool, which I think is already there, then if all three come together, I think that works perfectly. Unfortunately, we don't have such a perfect scenario yet.
So that's actually one of the reasons for today's meeting is also this as an initial point, that if we identify that these three needs to go together, we can go more in depth instead of working in silos. Yeah. So Lester, should we go to you actually? If you would like to share anything?
So actually, for this system actually is what the teacher or the schools needs, and it's a very critical system that we urge to need it actually. But what we can see from school actually is actually from government, from our Malaysia, we have all these platforms, but in a different way. Okay, we have students attendance system called students attendance called APDM. All the students details are inside there. We have another system which called ID.me, okay, which can we can go in and key in all the results from academic sites. And we have another one like PAJSK, another systems which key in for the core curriculums, activities, all these things. Actually, what I can see is actually if we merge all this system into one, maybe it's easier for the teachers, for the schools, for the ministry to manage everything.
So they don't talk to each other at the moment, all this system?
Yeah.
I think what the teacher
They
can say is
don't
not
know.
Exactly, yes. Okay, because what I can see is, for example, there's a students details system called APDM, and there's another one currently called ID.me, which we need to key in all the tahap penguasaan, the TP, the results inside it. Okay. Unfortunately, there's no link between them. Okay.
Like for health also, right?
Yeah. Students A, they will have the name of student A, but the ID is different. The ID is different, so we have to record it. We have to.
Every time there's a new Ministry of Education, they change the vendor.
Actually, it's not the every time we change a minister, then we have new things to do it. Actually, this one, what I can see, because previously I was in Japan also, and what I can see is actually KBM ministry, we have a lot of bahagian, we have a lot of sectors. Okay, but the problem is every sectors, every heads, they have one idea doing something, so they create it. After they create it, okay, so nothing to do with another sector, so we just do our own. What happened to school is the school has to adopt every system from them. The teachers have to do all the things what they want. So that is our problem in school, and so I think for if our Malaysia, if our ministry they are able to develop this system to the school, I think the teachers will be very happy to do it. So that is one thing. Okay, the second thing is before I come to SJK Chung Cheng, my current school. Actually, I was in quite different schools. I was in a big school before, okay, in a town area. I was in quite rural school like Balinian, okay. So I can see that actually the hardware, the infrastructure that our Malaysia needs is quite critical. Okay, that's why I'm very happy to work with Dr. Chiu, Mr. Gary. Okay, they come to the schools and help us. Okay, we have line there, we can access to internet, but the problem is the signal is very weak. So what we did is Mr. Gary he's quite good in network, so he help us to find a point that it's okay, maximize the bandwidth, the speed, and then we can do a lot of things. So what I can see is if we have the infrastructure, maybe everything will be getting better. Okay, this is the second thing. The third thing is, of course, the human resource, the teacher's mindset. Okay, every Malaysians we know okay, the government system is good actually. Okay, what they want is very perfect. And what I can see from here, our education system is actually almost the same. Almost the same. But the one who implement it, that is the problem. And the teachers' quality is our Malaysian teacher good enough to compete with other teachers in the rest of the world? are they very good? So that is the question that we need to think. And if we can, I hope that, okay, from the ministry or from master, from STEC, from other organization, we can doing some training to develop their mindset. Okay, not even teachers, some of the parents also. For town area, we have a lot of what we say like educated parents that are very they can communicate, they can collaborate with the schools. But what about the rural areas? That is my point of view. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, off the record here. So currently we are working regarding your question just now. Whether right now we have a new ministry called the Digital Ministry, Communication and Digital. We call it KKD here. They will be taking over all the, just now what you mentioned, just now the problem for every department having their own apps. Right now the apps will be centralized and built by the digital department. So it will be centralized. So this is one of their aim to reduce all the workload for the administrative for the teacher. We know you have 5 websites to log in to log all the stuff. 4 to 5. I think.
More than that.
Yeah. So we want to take that away from you so you can teach instead of just, I went through the whole process. You actually have to put in the spreadsheet, output the CSV and everything and put in, I understand. And some of the websites cannot even use the latest Chrome, I understand. So the department, the digital department will take over and then it will be one stop. So we are developing the hardware, the software and the platform for it. Okay, right now we'll be testing. So if any teachers here, including private school, if you want primary one, to use our digital textbook, which everything will be digitalized, which means we are developing we're not Estonia, we can't afford iPad, so we're developing a very special e-ink that can last quite long. And we still haven't decided to whether let the student bring home or not, because we haven't finalized how. It's still very early stage. And of course the teachers it's just like the e-school web that I went to download your paper just now, I love it. And we also have to create an LMS just like what you did just now. So everything, and Microsoft already give us all the license, you run on the Microsoft system. And again, I just want to ask this story. How far is your uni? Like, what are the scope? Because next month we will set up a task force between Ministry of Education, Ministry of Digital Communication, and also Ministry of Science. So we need people like yourself to provide us consultation or any guideline or any lessons learned from your country, so we don't make any mistake if you have made. I'm not saying that you made mistakes. So we want to absorb, and of course we understand our limitations. For example, we don't have internet in every part of the world, so our devices have to be able to sustain on its own without internet. Even as we are reaching the final 10%, it will take only a decade. But our devices has to be offline as well. And then because a lot of our classrooms, especially the rural area, is not like this. So our devices, the teachers will have to cast all their screen as a projector as well. So there's so many things that we're trying to develop here at a very limited resources. So if the university is willing to take part in your research, do let me know. And if Tallinn wants to be part of, sit in the board to provide us your valuable advice, I'll be so thankful and appreciate it. So we can provide it. So it's due 2025. We are still raising funds for our first 120 units for the schools. If the private schools, currently we have 4 schools, if there are any schools which you think your school want to earmark one classroom together along with the teacher, we can do that. Everything will be online, even the assessment. Certain subjects will be gamified as well. And then you have metadata that you can study the teacher. For example, if your students spend extra 15 minutes on question 3, we can capture that as well, and the teacher can say, why are half my students spending so much time on this question? So these are the things that we want teacher to help teacher learn better. And then of course the most important thing is to reduce the school bag as well. So the thing is like replacing all the textbook. We already digitalized all the textbooks, we can put it in already to save the money, because we send our textbooks all the way to the jungle and everywhere. It costs a lot of money, and every year we have to do that, because in Malaysia, our textbooks are given free. All no, for local. Yeah, we don't want that. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's the scope. It's my first time here.
Okay, so I think Dr. Jen is also here from Universe. We are with the Unicare, so we are the host, we will be at the end. Over to Dr. Jen.
Yeah, it's very nice to hear the government is moving towards that. I'm wondering whether you also, where will the database be? I mean, is it like?
For the trial phase, we will have to use a data center in somewhere.
All right.
But then after that, we will share the data. If the ministry fully adopts it, then of course the government will take control of it. How is it like in Estonia? The government controls the data centers.
The data centers?
For what?
Of the school.
Is it public owned or private owned?
The data centers for the?
All the data that you
The
capture.
school's data, the
The students, the parents.
The school data is managed by the schools.
By the school.
By the schools.
Yeah.
So they find their own hosting services.
I see. So here will be taken by the ministry.
In
But for the testing, we are buying somewhere in Malaysia.
Right.
Yeah, it's a private.
Do you do also analytics to the data that you have, like say getting to know the performance of the students? And
Yes, so all the data we collected as well. That's why we're going to phase 3 right now. We finished phase 1 and phase 2, and right now we're moving towards phase 3, where all the data, the parents, for example, can see certain limited stuff. For example, whether they attend the class or not, and the homework, everything. The teacher can see the whole class. The principal can see the whole school. District officers see the whole state, and the ministry can see the whole country. So they have a real-time data. Instead of plotting the weight, like once every 6 months, now you can see every month. So exactly, the student can do it themselves. They can stand on the weight and put it into their own tablet, and then you don't have to do it for them already. So there's one thing off your administrative work. Even their exam, we try to digitalize this as well, just what he did just now. So they do all their exams, and then everything is marked and submitted. So you don't have to mark the paper. Because we realized from our phase 2, the best time to teach them is right after an exam. You remember when you finish an exam, you're like, hey, you can do 7. Right? That was the time, there's a golden hour, 15 minutes, where teacher can call them into the room and discuss the question. If you wait for the teacher to mark and to return the paper and discuss it, it's 1 week later, they forget everything. So we want to capture that golden hour, and which is right now, I think MOE will say that maybe your exam has to have a 15 minutes where you call the students back in. Because they are all discussing, oh, can you do question number 3? It was so difficult. That was the golden time when you teach them, everything goes in. Only a digital system can make sure that you can assess the assessment so fast. Because if you ask the teacher to bring back, the teacher also take their sweet time over the weekend, next week, and give that to the students the paper. By that time, the student is not interested anymore. Because after an exam, I forget about it.
So the performance of the schools and all those things being generated as well.
Correct. Like what he did just now, e-report card, I love it. It looks so much nicer. Then you can share. Parents love to share if their kids have 100 marks or anything.
Just to clarify, it is in the plan or it is already implemented?
Yeah, we are testing it right now.
Oh, we are testing it.
Yeah, the next semester we will have 1 semester, 1 classroom. We give every student 1 unit of it. Then you can share. Parents love to share if their kids have 100 marks or anything.
Just to clarify, it is in the plan or it is already implemented?
Yeah, we are testing it right now.
Oh, we are testing it.
Yeah, the next semester we will have 1 semester, 1 classroom. We give every student 1 unit of it, and then they will replace all their textbook exercises.
And the designs of those systems is based on?
What do you mean?
Like how these whole systems?
It's like a Windows, but it runs on the e-ink to save energy.
No, what I mean is that the whole concept, the whole modeling of these systems, like how it has been developed,
yes.
Or there is a very thorough study before the designs also.
We have a very buggy platform right now, which we are going to push because September we're going to start the phase 3. So right now we design the system.
Yeah, and what actually, from my understanding, is that yes.
I will push it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. You are basically integrating a number of the systems that I mentioned right now.
I downloaded the paper already on UNESCO.
A number of the systems are being integrated. But from your presentation, I missed understanding whether or not the system supports students and teachers actually in the teaching and learning process. Like, does it allow them to match like content with learning outcomes and goals? And Is
We
it
are trying to input that right now for 2 subjects.
like competency based, right? So if you want to generate support this kind of competence on the student, can I show the student that this content contributes to this one contributes to that one, so that the student
The
mapping, yeah.
That one is
on the mapping.
on the LMS.
On
the LMS.
Is it in that system?
Yeah. So you can put in your objectives, you can put in everything. You click open, you see everything that the teacher teaches. So you know what the teacher is going to teach before that. And then the exam, like what you said just now, before the exam, you can see what is being.
So they can understand a student can understand some progress.
Yes.
In the learning.
And real-time feedback as well.
Okay.
So.
Really cool.
I
That's
would
really
like
cool.
to ask if you did already some evaluation tests to understand if.
We finished 2 phases. One is one class only, phase 1. Phase 2 is 1 chapter, and we just got the permission to run a full semester test in September.
Because the feedback from the
Correct.
students is very
Correct.
important
Correct.
to improve the.
Yeah. So
This feedback is.
the teacher that we choose, that's why we ask for volunteers, because we cannot force the teacher, like what you said just now. If we force the teacher, you get nothing. So we have a few volunteer teachers, which is in our STEM community, and they provide the feedback. And it takes us 6 months to actually interview them before, after, we need time. So after 6 months, we're going to ask them back to fill in the same survey again. And then we also survey the parents, the teachers, and also the local, the sentiments, because we can't force it.
So you also engage with curriculum development?
Yes.
I'm just curious, the assessment, is it digital or?
What
The student do it online or
Yes,
the student?
Online. Like what he did just now, the word come out, but we also have another one on Azure, on Microsoft. There's also another one that can just do like Google Form, you can tick. The answers is already provided by the teacher. So after they finish submit, it's assessed straight away. And the teacher can, on the dashboard, can see right away half of the class.
It's for multiple choices.
Yes.
How about mathematics and science?
Only right now, only for multiple
Same
choices.
essays?
Yeah, subjective not yet.
No, they don't.
Subjective still have to be assessed. I'm sure right now with words recognition and everything, it can be expedited. Better than writing on the paper, giving to the teacher, and teacher look at the handwriting and mark.
Use GPT.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah. So we will I think with this offer what Chancellor is just mentioning about engaging the universities. So Dr. Jen, if you want to have very quick 1-2 minutes, then I will come back to the evening guys also, because I think in that Dr. Allen that okay, here is an offer for us to support the development of the system and how we should go next with that offer.
Yeah, of course, we must want to be.
I think we have an underlying MOU between my company and Unimas. If anything want to do, I think we are like colleagues. So we have an underlying MOU with your chancellor already.
I see. That's good. Because from the data science center, we can provide expert skill, like for example, natural language processing for essay, marking, all those things. You can do that. Thanks.
Yeah, from Unica, I think this is a very good problem statement, and what's happening right now, I think is really good. And then Unica will always happy to, if there are any groups for us to perform research or insights, analytics, like the Jen said as well. So if we need data, if we have data, then we can do many things. So so that's it. I think thank you.
Sorry.
Over to you.
Yeah, for me, actually, we have all these technologies like presented, but it's more on the parent, education. So one more thing I want to ask David, how do you control the screen time for the student?
Screen time. Screen time. Do you want to control the screen
yes.
time?
Now the screen time in Malaysia is a serious problem. No, in Estonia it's not a problem. You don't control children.
You started by opening the day. When you open the day today, you said, if I recall correctly, you mentioned ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
And we need to embrace it.
We can embrace, no problem.
Yeah,
but
it's the same thing.
Yeah, but the parents now in Malaysia, in Cebu, they always restrict the children to look on screen because like they will get myopia, right? They play games. So how Estonia going to, evaluate and how they don't control it?
There's no limitation on
So
screen
no
time.
limitation, they can do 24 hours.
It's not an ongoing discussion. It's not a concern.
There is
with
no
parents.
fear.
No
There is
fear
no
on the
fear.
screen time.
It depends on the parents. Some parents do that, others don't.
Some parents might be concerned, but it's not like a trendy issue. It's not. It's as an issue as you should do more physical exercise. You know, like you should refrain from so much time on the screen. Maybe you should go swimming, right? So it's a question of attitude towards. It's a balance, right?
Yes.
You cannot avoid it. So forbidden stuff is the stuff that people really want to do, right?
Yeah.
So typically the attitude is quite relaxed regarding that. We are all using computers and screens and phones and whatever, students as well. I mentioned that in the school there is restriction, not using it in the corridors. They want people to be focused, not looking at videos. They allow people parents to handle it as they see fit at home. But in general, I would say that most parents are not so much worried with screen time. They are more worried in getting students to engage with different activities, right? So get your students to swim, get your students to theater,
Physical contact.
yeah, physical contact, go outside, do this, do that, and that's how you balance the screen time. It's not by forbidding them, because if you forbid them, there's no alternative.
Even more,
You forbid them and then you put them in a corner, then it's like pointless, right? So get them to do something else, not forbid them, because it's going to be there. They will do it.
For me, I'm okay, I'm open, but some of the mindset from the parents, especially in Cebu here, they always restrict their children for.
If it helps your anxiety here, the hardware you were developing is using e-ink gallery 3. So when you look at it, it looks like a paper, it looks like a magazine, number one.
It's like Kindle, right?
Correct, like with color.
With
Second
color.
thing is the refresh rate is 15 frames per second. So he won't, have you used a Kindle before?
Yeah.
So if you see that refresh rate, you won't go YouTube, you won't play games.
Yeah.
But perfect for writing, perfect for reading.
Okay.
That's very good.
So I think ultimately the parent mindset still have to change now, because when they see all these things, it's bad,
Yeah, I know.
It's
I know.
bad.
Yeah.
It's different
That's why I
mindset,
said, that's why we have a different culture.
Yeah, culture different. You say when some of the senior citizens say, oh, this is bad, that is bad,
It's fine. I mean, if you see the Kindle, you show it to an old person, and he'll think that's a magazine.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's
but
e-ink.
in Estonia it's app, right?
Yeah.
You have to
No.
keep on monitoring your app all the time.
For us, the parents are the ones in charge.
Yeah, apps, right.
E-ink it also saves the battery because a lot of places can't rely on electricity. So we use charging. So once you charge, if you use it properly, it lasts about 4 to 7 days.
So that is a platform based, is it?
What do you mean?
It means to say that the student have to adopt your platform.
No. For parents who are going to Woodlands, right, if they want to get an iPad Pro, it's fine, they can install the app.
Okay.
But for our test students, pilot students, they use a special device.
Specific
hardware, which is cheap. Yeah, but belongs to the government.
But the app is universal, right? Correct.
There's no app. Yeah, inside there will be a pre-installed
I
app.
want to monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one will be from the parents.
Anyone can use that.
From the parents. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. Just very quick, like 3 more minutes. So we are going to close in that. I think what I could see is from here onwards, one of the part that maybe we need to, Aztec has now key labs. There are so many key labs. Maybe we need one key lab for the education, which is much more focused. No, what I mean is that if the people who are sitting here, they would like to make it more into the next stage. So either there could be another key lab, or we can need to create another platform for us to take this thing to the next stage. Actually, that's the important aspect. That's why I was thinking about it, because I'm in the network lab, something a 5G lab. I will be much more interested. But I think as a follow-up, that would be good actually, that we can have another meeting somehow, maybe in coaching this time or something, where we can have more in-depth understanding of the thing and where we can collaborate to push the thing, to bring the things to the next stage, also involve the, and in the meantime, that's also another opportunity for us to engage with the school with whom we are currently working with them. From there, actually, we can see, because I can still think, for example, the issue of fear or the trust in technology. Do parents have trust on technology? How many of us are currently researching that component in Sarawak?
Yes.
So I think there are so much studies have been done, research are there, but then those dissemination of research is another part of that, whether people already know why the fears are coming to them, why they are having fear from the technology, because I don't think so that they still know about those all research which has been already proven that the screen time is not that much issue today how it was 15 years before because of the technology or whatsoever. So I think those things are important for us. So maybe we can have another, we can discuss it also with Estet, Unimas, and all of us. Yeah, I will over to you, Natasha, for the last comments. Yeah, so and we can hand over to you from here onward. You can let us know if you have something in mind. Then otherwise, that what we can do, we can go for the lunch after this, and we will have a follow-up conversation on these later. Yes, Natasha.
Thank you, Dr. Derek, and thank you, everyone. So I just want to answer a few of, I want to comment on a few of the suggestions and feedback that I received. So on behalf of our telco team, we do provide the My Sarawak Rural Broadband Network. It's called My SRBN. The goal is to have 70% tower erected in 2023 this year, but ideally it's hard to achieve because of our limitation of our infrastructure in Sarawak. But the main idea of what we are doing on behalf of the telco team, we want to provide access of connectivity to everyone across Sarawak. So that could be a great start, and I personally also hope that this can be offered to everyone across Sarawak so that everyone can benefit from it. But just to share, we always have received this feedback. Why do you give us connectivity if you're not giving us good facilities like access to road, healthy, safe water to drink, or electricity, basic needs. So it's always an issue over there where we are coming from entity who deliver the digital transformation initiative, but they want something else. So that's one of the limitations we always feel with the people. And just to share also on behalf of ministry as well, in terms of the education in Sarawak, so our role is mainly to provide the supplementary programs for the schools, because we don't have any says in the federal schools. It's actually led by the Ministry of Education. And in Sarawak itself, we have many players who are involved with the STEM education. So there is this plan that we are going to do somewhere in April or March. We are going to do a STEM lab where we gather everyone who actually carry out the STEM education initiative in Sarawak. So the goal is for us to do an alignment on the initiative, how we can improve our programs and how we can enhance the STEM. So we always see that some programs overlapping with the others, and how do we want to optimize funding so that every student across Sarawak, no one is going to be left behind to experience the hands-on. So the real target is to provide that experience for the rural students or the underserved communities. It's not really focusing on how we want to digitalize the students. We want them to experience what is STEM education, something that's more than what they have learned in classroom. Because we foresee that those who are coming from underserved communities, right, they only learn what they are learning inside the classroom. You open the book, you read, you learn, teacher teach you, give you homework, that's it. But not on hands-on compared to those who are in urban areas. So this is what are the end goals that we want to do. And just to share as well, STEC is also overseeing the Sarawak Digital and Innovation Ecosystem, where we provide the facilities for startup or digital talents to enhance their skills. We also provide the facilities for the startup to run the company. We provide the workshop, and we do provide funding and connecting them to the investor, potential investor. In fact, Kendall is one of our startup as well, both in different fields. So I also want to emphasize that in terms of STEM STEM education, we work very closely with our delivery partners like Chewbacca, Ribeiro Learning Center. They are our backbone because they are our great minds who runs all of the programs across Sarawak, and we rely on them to implement that. And just to also open the opportunity to anyone who felt that there is a potential to collaborate. So anything that's related to the digital transformation for startup, for young talents, which is 17 and below, we can support that. If you want to know more about Aztec, you can check my name later on. We can discuss after that. I am thankful for this sharing session, and I'm glad that my partner is here as well, and hope that we all can empower and do more this year. And Hannah, thank you everyone. Yes, that's all.
Thank you, Aztec. Yeah, I think work further time because he got a class downstairs, he lost out the stuff. So I think any more final words? Anyone want to mention anything? So I thank you for Aztec also to be with us. Yeah, we understand how the initiative has been rolling out. They're working really hard, I can say. Yeah, it's just sometimes all these noises still making a lot of noise, like what you say. Why don't provide me a road? You give me digital for what? And those things. But basically, I'm really agree on the MySPN because those longhouse I'm working in, I tag on to your MySPN, and also I hotspot certain areas for the longhouse. They're using it for free actually for that. Yeah, it's just that certain mindset things we need to create off. Yeah. Okay. So any more last words or anything? Anyone want to say anything before we go for lunch? Yeah. I think we're cool. Yeah. Then thank you very much, and we'll keep it low. No worry, because I told I have all your emails and contact numbers. We'll keep it low because we don't want to stop here. So now we invite everyone for lunch at the same area. Yeah. So the lunch has been ready since 12:30. Yeah, about 1 hour.
Are we going to have a group photo?
Yeah, we can, but